Hello and welcome to Chabot News for October 28, 2020. My name is Armando, and in today's news, we will be covering Hurricane ZETA and SAFEWAY's legal troubles. In entertainment news, Gabe will talk about the new Drake album. In sports, Cecily will cover the fight for equality for women's soccer. And in our top 5, Frank will tell us the top 5 cell phones of 2020. All that and more coming up on Chabot News. As the presidential election is still going on, trouble is happening in Philadelphia due to police killing Walter Wallace. American politician Joe Biden spoke about the looting. This is what he had to say.
There is no excuse whatsoever for the looting and the violence. None whatsoever. I think to be able to protest is totally legitimate, it's totally reasonable, but I think that the looting is just, as the victim's father said, do not do this. It's not what my son, you're not helping, you're hurting, you're not helping my son. And there are certain things we're going to have to do as we move along, and I know the local folks in Philadelphia are thinking about it as well, and that is how we deal with, how do you diminish the prospect of lethal shooting in circumstances like the one we saw.
Biden says there is no excuse for looting. For more national news, another hurricane zeroes in on the Gulf Coast. Hurricane ZETA expected to make landfall Wednesday evening, and residents are bracing for high winds and flash flooding.
It has been a brutal hurricane season here in the Gulf, but it's not over yet with Hurricane ZETA barreling down on the region.
It's coming fast, it's coming strong.
Hurricane ZETA expected to pack a punch in the Gulf. A hurricane warning is in effect from Louisiana to the Mississippi-Alabama border, including New Orleans.
This is not a drill. We've had many of them. It's not a drill. We do expect directly impacting the city of New Orleans.
Once ZETA makes landfall, heavy wind, rain, and storm surge as high as 8 feet above normal tide is expected. Officials in Jefferson and Terrebonne parishes have issued mandatory evacuation orders for coastal areas and places outside major levees.
This is the 7th time that we've been in the cone of uncertainty, and ask our citizens to please be prepared to shelter in place early afternoon through perhaps midnight tonight.
As officials urge caution, residents in the Gulf are prepping, getting sandbags, and preparing for yet another hurricane. If ZETA strikes Louisiana, this will be the 5th named storm to do so this season. Now with ZETA zeroing in, Louisiana's governor says his request for federal storm assistance has been approved.
It's going to be a rough evening for Louisiana, particularly in the southeastern portion. I am confident that we are well prepared for this storm.
Because it is such a fast-moving storm, some communities in northern Alabama and even into Georgia could see wind gusts of 40 to 50 miles an hour over the course of the next 24 hours or so in New Orleans. Connor Powell, back to you.
Today for Bay Area news, Oakland artist joins Nigerians' #EndSARS movement against police violence from afar. The Bay Area's artist, Renu Guamu, knew she had to do something when Nigerian soldiers shot at a crowd of protesters at the Lekki toll gate in Lagos on October 20th, killing at least 10 people. Guamu had joined a global movement of Nigerian diaspora, organizing in solidarity with those on the ground in her home country. Last Saturday, October 20th, she helped plan a protest that drew hundreds of Nigerian Americans at their supporters to Oakland Lake's Merritt Amphitheater. Activists see the protests as bigger than just SARS. To Guamu, they are part of an international movement of formerly colonized people fighting for self-determination and dignity. The fate of Nigeria affects everyone globally, she says. Guamu and other activists are organizing another rally in November. This one will be led by Nigerian women and will highlight the ways they and LGBTQ people are doubly marginalized by sexism and homophobia. ESSA board approves funding for landlords whose tenants can't pay rent due to COVID-19. Supervisors on Tuesday unanimously approved an ordinance to provide funding for landlords whose tenants have been unable to pay rent as a result of the COVID-19 pandemic. According to Supervisor Dean Preston, who authored the legislation, San Francisco landlords have lost as much as $32 million monthly in unpaid rent as tenants continue to face financial hardships due to the pandemic. We are providing a roadmap for recovery, and that means making sure renters and small landlords are not left out in the cold if tenants can't pay rent because of COVID, Preston said in a statement. Price gouging allegations against the Safeway supermarket chain have been settled by authorities in Alameda and Contra Costa counties. Authorities in both counties announced Tuesday. The case stemmed from an investigation into the marking up of two brands of hand sanitizer by the chain at the onset of the COVID-19 pandemic. Authorities said the market has sold more than 80,000 units of RAF Distiller hand sanitizer and Ocean Fresh Bump Gel hand sanitizer with markups exceeding what was allowed under state law. Governor Gavin Newsom has specifically forbid such pricing on an emergency basis in April as the pandemic spread across the globe. Alameda County District Attorney Nancy O'Malley said in a statement that the original report had come from a concerned citizen. Safeway stopped the pricing as soon as it was brought to the company's attention and has fully cooperated with the investigation, according to statements released by O'Malley and Contra Costa District Attorney Diana Beckton. Next, we have Gabe with the latest entertainment news.
Thanks, Armando. A new studio album from Drake is coming early next year. In a clip shared on social media, Drake gave fans a quick glimpse of what's to come for his upcoming album titled Certified Lover Boy. The 1-minute clip starts with a young boy staring into the sky with the spotlight shining down on him. The images that follow are short recreations of the artwork for Drake's releases, including Take Care, Nothing Was the Same, and Dark Lane demo tapes. Certified Lover Boy will mark his 6th full-length studio album and will be a follow-up to his 2018 album Scorpion. Iggy Azalea finally gave a glimpse of her baby boy after confirming that she and Playboy Cardi have split. In one of her Instagram stories, Azalea wrote, "You lost a real one." And she followed up by stating that she's not in a relationship anymore and that she will be raising her son alone. In an Instagram post, Azalea proudly shows off her baby boy while wearing a black dress with a simple angel emoji as the caption. That's it for entertainment news this week. Now back to Armando.
Thanks, Gabe. In local news, Alameda County residents are finally allowed to dine indoors at restaurants. Under the county's new rules, restaurants are allowed to seat 25% of their capacity or 100 patrons, whichever is less, so long as they adhere to safety and social distancing protocols. In this orange tier of California's color-coded system of reopening, officials include churches, fitness gyms, and movie theaters in the reopening category, but cautious that these indoor activities remain high risk. Now we go to Frank with this week's Top 5. Frank?
Thanks, Armando. For this week's Top 5, I will be counting down the 5 best-selling smartphones in the world for the first half of 2020. For number 5, iPhone XR. The XR model still sells very well at 8 million units in these 6 months, even though it was introduced 2 years ago with the Apple A12 processor. This phone still remains strong in the market and provides users with an outstanding experience that has not much difference in daily usage than the new iPhone 12. For number 4, iPhone SE 2020. As the second generation of the affordable edition of the iPhone, this SE 2020 model surprised iPhone fans with all kinds of upgraded hardware on this phone. Although the design still remains in the old iPhone 6 style from 2014, you can still get a similar experience on this phone to compare with iPhone 11, but $200 cheaper. For number 3, Redmi Note 8 series. Redmi took over the seat of the best-selling cell phones in China from Huawei by their new 4-camera settings on this smartphone and its friendly pricing. The 48-megapixel main wide camera along with an ultra-wide angle camera, macro camera and depth camera provides users with an exceptional experience on both picture taking and video recording. For number 2, Samsung Galaxy A51 series. While Samsung still remains the strongest competitor to Apple, its middle-end A-series smartphones get very positive feedback overall from the world market, with sales of 11.4 million, especially after its early introduction to 5G, and provides the best visual with their outstanding OLED screen that most of the middle-end phones today don't have. For number 1, iPhone 11. Apple's iPhone 11 is the world's best-selling phone in the first half of 2020, with no other models coming even close to its sales numbers at 37.7 million, 3 times more than the second place. In the same period last year, the iPhone XR was the most popular phone in the world with 26.9 million units sold. The impressive A13 processor performance, improved battery life, best video recording experience, improved water resistance, and the gigabit class 4G LTE modem of iPhone 11 make it the highest value smartphone over all others. That's it for the top 5 this week. Now back to Armando.
Thanks, Frank. On Halloween, all children under the age of 12 who go to Steak and Shake in costume are eligible to receive a free kids shake of their choice. Options include classic flavors like vanilla, chocolate chip, and strawberry, or specific flavors like chocolate chip cookie dough, M&Ms, and Reese's peanut butter cup. Now we go to Cisalali with this week's sports update.
Thank you, Armando. Today in sports, it is a great time to be a Los Angeles sports fan, whether that is basketball or baseball. Just this Tuesday, October 27th, the Los Angeles Dodgers won the World Series for the first time in 32 years. The Dodgers defeated the Tampa Bay Rays 3-1 during Game 6. At a time of celebration for the city of Los Angeles, as just 2 weeks ago, the city celebrated the Lakers winning the NBA championship for the first time in 10 years. Fans inundated the streets to celebrate their team's win, despite concerns for rising COVID cases after similar celebrations for the Lakers win. I hope everyone is staying safe, and congratulations to the Dodgers. In other news, women's soccer is gaining more visibility after the women's U.S. national team won the World Cup in 2019. With more eyes tuning to the sport, players are fighting for equal pay, especially champions midfielder Tobin Heath and forward Kristen Press. Back in May, they filed a lawsuit against the U.S. Soccer Federation but lost. Despite this, they have decided to continue raising awareness for equal pay in the sport. On this topic, Heath told CNN Sports, "Just as we are pioneers in our sports because women's football is very young in comparison, we are pioneers in this global equality that needs to exist and an opportunity that needs to exist for all." With Press adding, "We talk about it all the time. We will get very little personally from winning the lawsuit, but we do it because it will greatly impact the future within the game. It will create resources for players, hopefully globally, and it sets a precedent that women in all jobs, in all careers, have a stake. With this, we hope to see the growth of the sport and to see equality champion." Back to you, Armando.
Thanks to Salali. And finally, this week, a little bit of good news. The Fort Pierce Police Department in Florida threw a parade on Tuesday honoring military veteran Clarence McDuffie in celebration of his 100th birthday. Officers organized a patrol car parade for the Georgia-born U.S. Army veteran to salute his service in World War II. He has also close to 35 grandchildren, some of whom participated in parade festivities and stopped by to wish him a happy birthday. That's all for Chabot News this week. Thanks to all the students and staff in the Mass Communication Department here at Chabot College for making this production possible. You can watch us anytime online at youtube.com/ChabotTV. Stay tuned to KCTH Channel 27 for more Chabot TV.